Hello.
Hi, Ankit.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Ankit.
Garima. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for asking. Yeah. So,
I also have my colleague here, Sabah. So we both coordinate for DFI.
okay.
Hi, Ankit.
Actually, your camera is off, I guess.
Yeah, because my internet is weak because there's no electricity at my place at the
Okay.
moment. Some government repair works are
Okay.
going on. That's why.
Okay. Okay. So, you both, I guess you both are architects.
Yes, I'm an urban planner too.
Okay, that's great. And Garima, I guess you're also architects. Like you wrote me an email like regarding Anand. I guess Anand Sharma is taking the call.
Yes, he'll be the spokesperson on behalf of DFI today.
Okay. So he will be come or like we should start the call.
No, he is the one who's going to be we coordinated for an interview with him, so he'll be joining. I think Sabah will confirm.
Okay.
Hi, Ankit. He'll be joining in a minute.
Yeah, sure, sure. Please take your time.
Yeah, yeah. And I think Garima's network is weak, so she will maybe rejoin us again. Yeah.
Sure, sure. By the way, Sabina, how was your day?
Uh, could you repeat it?
Yeah, I said, how was your day? How was your day?
Yeah, so I was coordinating for this interview. So we were trying to reschedule it to one because Anand sir got some urgent meeting. And yeah, we were coordinating for that. And finally, we were so happy that we could reschedule it to 2:30 instead of
Yeah,
12:30. Yeah.
yeah.
And
I
apologies for that, to be
no,
honest.
no, it's okay. Like I have also some like important like meeting, so that's fine. Okay.
Yeah, we got to know that. So,
Yeah.
what exactly do you cover, like with regards to DFI? They do infrastructure, they do government schools, they also build hospitals and did large scale urban development projects, including real estate, housing, and malls and all.
Yeah,
So,
so what we do we are the online platform, let's say like we are architectural designer platform. Okay.
mm,
Like on our website we are fastest growing platform with architectural designer. What we do on our platform, architects, designers, manufacturers as well. They can feature their project, their latest project, so
yeah,
they can most the coverage of by architects. So it will help to
Hi.
yeah.
yeah, hi Anand, how
I
are you?
think Anand sir has joined us. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi Anand.
Hello. I'm sorry for
No,
rescheduling
it's
this.
okay.
Something
No,
inevitable had come up. Really
no,
sorry and appreciate your patience. Yeah.
no, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. So, how was your day?
Yeah. Hectic so far. That's why I had to reschedule, but good. All sorted and yeah, in a good
Okay.
mood to chat with
Okay. So, what we do, we are feature this, this event on our social media channel, like YouTube. Okay. And we are also feature this interview on our blog page, on our general page. Okay. So, yeah. So, please tell me, how did you become interested in architecture, and what inspired to pursuing the career in architects?
you. Right. So, you know, the story of getting into architecture was not primarily about being wanting to become an architect. It happened back in our times. It seems like an ancient history now, but back in
Like
1990.
Yeah, you started in 1995, I guess. I see that.
Right. So 1989, 1990, when we wrote our IIT entrance examination.
Okay.
Um, Architecture, and you get selected, and then you get to choose a branch basis what you want to do, and how high you are placed in the overall ranking. Right. So commensurate to what you ask for, which campus do you want to go for, and what course that you're looking for, you get assigned a stream, right? Uh, Unfortunately, or even otherwise, there was no way um, aptitude was tested to become an architect back then, right? So we got in. Architecture was the course that we finally got selected for, and we went in. So in a way, it was a career that chose us rather than vice versa. So I think Providence had it in for us to make us architects, and
Like,
everything has
yeah,
worked for the
architect
better.
choose you. Like, let's say architect choose you.
Architecture chose us, and incidentally, in our penultimate year at IIT Kharagpur, we were all three of us who were partners at DFI and TCS. We're sitting together over a cup of tea, and we we are class. We were close, and we were classmates. So we said, "What do you guys want to do after college? So why not?" Somebody said, "Why not try it out on our own for a few years and for a few months, and then see how it goes?" So Tevatiya Chauhan and Sharma, the practice which we started with, was conceptualized in a tea shop. At least the thought of it germinated right there, and we said, "Fine, we'll give it a shot," and we gave it a shot, and the shot worked. So here we are, 28 years more or less from the day
Yeah,
we thought we will come together, and that's how it is.
it's a long journey.
28, 9 years, yeah.
It's a long
Mhm.
journey. Okay.
It's a
And
long.
yeah. So do you have also the family background in like architecture or design?
No, no. None of us have an architecture background in any of our families. We all come from, the public servant, government servant background. One of us is from the armed forces background, and others are from civilian. But again, so there is no architecture background except that artistic pursuits were pursued. Pursuits were, followed up by my father, and um, that's all. So that's the only bit of anything to do with art or architecture that sort of I've inherited. Yeah.
Okay. And so like I see like you have also done the different projects in a different location. You are, I guess you are also covered all over the globe, all over the India. Like you're completed
Yes,
all
we are.
over the India project. I see on your
Absolutely.
website. So
Right.
okay, yeah. And what is your design process like conceptual to finalize the project?
So we always look at the project from a perspective of a fresh project. We don't, even though projects come in typologies, but we don't classify our project into um, uh, a project which needs to be taken with regard to a certain typology and with a certain mindset and with a certain, predetermined and predestined design philosophy. We take every project, and the one thing that is very, very, intrinsic to our design thought is that we try and look at uh, every project from the minds and from the views of the final end user, right? Instead of uh, only hearing what our client wants us to do, we always try and look at the project from the way the end user would perceive it and use it and benefit from it. So the process is simple. We understand the brief. Very, very often, we in fact help our clients crystallize their overall brief, right? So many a times, the project brief is not completely sorted. They know broadly what they want, but how that want needs to be translated into exact what goes where, the nuts and bolts of the eventual product. We help them crystallize. We agree on a brief. Um, we agree on a timeline. We agree on some sort of a budget. We get cracking. The process thereafter is pretty standard one. There is concept. Then you put the nuts and bolts of engineering and structure into it. You develop the design a little more. Furthermore, it goes to the authorities for approval, and thereafter. So, except the part where we, come on to the project, everything else is pretty straightforward and standard.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you like typically source the product and the material for your upcoming architects projects?
So, fortunately, we are sitting in an era, and we are sitting in a place, Delhi, and we are sufficiently noticed that most product information comes to us. Right? Most product information, whenever there's a new product line being launched or a new product which is being sourced, it comes to us. The other very interesting way is travel, of course. When you travel, you get to see so much more which is happening around the world. There are design exhibitions which happen. Milan is a beautiful place to go.
Yeah, like he's happening in April.
Yeah, in April. Yeah. So Milan is a good place to learn. There are many. Tech is a good place to learn, and there are many such exhibitions. So every time, so that the source is of course travel, source is exhibitions, but I would say still maybe 50% of what is available comes to us by way of companies and by way of
Okay.
suppliers reaching out to us. Yeah.
Okay. So like supply reaching us, then you will then you will be your team and you will be selected like which product is suits to your project, I guess.
Come again. I think there was a little freeze for a moment.
Yeah, I
Can you
said.
repeat it?
Yeah. I said like supply reach you and you and your teams, then your teams and you are analyzing like what kind of design, what kind of furniture or lighting that you need for that
Yeah.
particular project, and then you will select.
Yeah. 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 So many a times we know what product we are looking for, and suppliers are there to show them to us. Sometimes we do not. We change our minds. Something very interesting and innovative has come. We change our mind, and of course we are open. This is how we learn, right? We learn from. There's so much happening in the world of materials. There's so much happening, so much innovation happening. Excuse me. Right. So we choose, and we sometimes tailor our designs based on the new product as well.
Yeah, that's great. Right now you're also design product, let's say you also design the products like furniture, lighting, or that kind of product.
Uh, very scarcely and scantily, but yes, we have done that for a couple of our public projects. We have designed furniture, couple of installations, art installations. In fact, I also designed mural for a art supplier called Kites that got showcased at the Paris show as well. So yes, that is something which does happen. Not very often, but we are very pleased when it does happen. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's great. That's lovely. Okay. And let's say, how did you manage your time and resources to ensure timely completed of project?
So we're fortunate to have a very seasoned and a very thorough and a professional team. Right? DFI is made, and DFI is owes all its success to people who work with DFI. We three partners have, I would say, maybe 20% share of what brings us all the success that we get. It is the rest of the credit is all to the team. So we have a very, very thorough and a sorted team, right? And we have a great, the responsibility sharing pyramid, if I may call it that, from heads to the team managers and thereon. That's one. So the team gets a lot of credit for that. Secondly, we are a very, very systems and processes driven company from very, very beginning. Even when we used to do houses till about 15-20 years ago, we had put in a great system of packet-wise distribution of drawings, protocols, creating process manuals to execute and supervise even houses, right, which nobody else was doing. We brought that same culture into DFI for doing extremely complicated. So we have what we call manuals for design typology. So there is a certain set of stage-wise, the prerequisite to start a design, like prerequisite to commence a stage like a concept or a schematic. What do we need? What do we need in terms of decisions from the client? What do we need? Data, etc., etc. What are we supposed to do in that stage? So concept, we're supposed to deal with these 20 points, right? And those points could be from design, could be from the facade, the interiors, the sustainability aspect of it, the sort of vetting it from the eyes of the regulatory authorities. So every stage has a certain level of checks, certain amount of doables, some deliverables. So because we are very, very process oriented, we go forward more often than not. And sort of once you are going forward and not going back and forth, overall the design delivery time is faster. And secondly, we discuss timelines, and we always have believed in DFI that we commit less and deliver more. So if we think we can do, so if we think we can finish something in say 4 weeks, we say we need 5 weeks. We try and finish in 3.5, right? So that's how we try to manage that.
Okay. And let's say, like, have you also worked with international projects, let's say in a Middle East, out of India?
Yes, we have worked on some projects in Kenya. We are currently working on a project in Seychelles. We are also working on a design in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
That's about that.
Yeah. So can you discuss any experience you have worked with on this international project? So what are the experience you can share with me?
All right. So the good thing about working on international scale is because you are on a global platform.
Yeah.
And the project proponent, the client, has reached out to you on the strength of where you are from. It is very, very heartening to know that the client had the option of going to XYZ. Right? They could have gone to a UK-based architect or an American architect or a Singapore-based firm, and they chose to come reach out to us. So there the client is very, very well educated and very, very well aware of what they want. That's all. Because they have had the the courage to hire an international architect. They also are very well aware of how the overall design engagement works, what is expected of them, what is expected of us. So the level of standardization, the level of engagement, the professionalism in engagement goes that much more. In terms of understanding, it takes a little time when you're designing a home, and even in Delhi, even in India, right? Designing a home in Hyderabad is very different from designing a home in, say, Jaipur or Delhi. Right? There are different cultural considerations that need to be taken into place. Vastu, for instance. When you're designing internationally, you have to know what a home means to a Sri Lankan or a Kenyan or a, and you tailor your overall. You need to study. You need to study because eventually people are going to be using those products. So that's one. So that design sensibility has to be brought.
Okay.
Thirdly, we as a firm have always been very, very firm believers of contextuality. So wherever we are building, we like to bring out the context of that place into what we do and what we design. So yes, at the level of engagement, it is far easier. At the level of design, conceptualizing the design, it is more interesting because it is more challenging. And thirdly, it is very, very gratifying and very satisfying, right? We pride ourselves on doing work in almost all the states of India. And I think Globe is just another
Level.
addition to working.
Okay. So let's say like it's challenging for your like team, or like it's how do you think that projects? How do you
Yeah,
see?
yeah. So yeah, correct. So in all projects, anything outside of, the regular travel time, so read North India or read NCR, the regulations across the country are very different, right? So we always look for a local partner. We always look for an architect who knows um, what what gets approved, right? Because the laws are different. So there is that one challenge is to understand and interpret and make best use of the controls that are available to you. Right? One. Secondly, construction methodology and technology is very different geographically. Right? So you have to understand how construction is done. So the construction documentation has to be dealt with separately. And then there are unique challenges. For instance, in Seychelles, we did not have an agency who could do soil investigation for us. So soil investigation was either, and Seychelles is an island, right? So it was possible to get a soil investigation agency from Europe or from India, right? So we, of course, Europe was expensive. So we chose to fly somebody who works for us in Delhi all the way to Seychelles to do soil investigation. So imagine. So then there are unique challenges to every zone. When you design with a certain technology in mind, you have to be, conscious of the fact that constructability has to be looked into. Yeah.
Mhm. And let's say can you discuss your experience with the designing for functional space, like such as development, reuse the projects.
Uh, Redevelopment projects.
Yeah, redevelopment project and like let's say multi-use developments.
Okay. Okay. So we have massive experience with the multi-use projects. The uses that we normally mix are retail, commercial, and workspaces. So um, it needs to be seen that one space, or rather one campus or a building, is being used by two different kind of users. Again, like I was saying earlier on, we like to look at our projects from the way the users would be using it, and only then get into design. So for instance, we are currently doing a large, about 2.5 million square feet mixed use project in Noida. It's called Eye of Noida. It's a 14 odd acre site, and it is meant for work. So the IT industry, and it is also meant for retail because it's a bustling, upcoming area of Noida, Sector 140. So there's a lot of already inhabited, very, very premium and mid-income housing societies all over. So we like to think of it as being individually accessible, convenient, and hassle-free for both user groups. Right? So for office goers, their experience getting into their workplaces and out has to be seamless, without any conflict, without any clash uh, with everybody else. For the casual shopper, the experience of coming in and coming out has to be thought of separately. And finally, even though we are catering separately to both user groups, the project should not look like this portion is for shoppers and this place is for office goers. Because eventually, it is one campus. So we look at the individual requirements, then we look at how those individual requirements can be all put together and create a campus which has something for everybody and something, everything for some people at least. So little confusing, but I'll reword this. Um, so for one user group, everything that they need to be in that place should be there. So something, everything for some people, which is the user group one, which is office goers, shopping for the casual shoppers, and for both of them, some common features. So mixed use developments are very interesting. You have more challenges. Redevelopment projects bring their own challenges because compared to greenfield projects, you
Yes.
have to deal with the existing traffic. You have to deal with the existing transportation points. For instance, we're doing a very large mixed use redevelopment project for government of Delhi in Azadpur, and it is on a very very busy road, and the entire um, transportation network of the project within has to be kept in mind with the transportation network that is already available by the city. So in redevelopment projects, the site becomes even more important. Uh, the connection between what we are proposing versus what is already there even becomes even more important. When you are constructing, you have to be even more cognizant of the fact, conscious of the fact that you're building in a pre-existing context. You do not want to completely blend in, but you do not want to completely blend out either. If you were to blend in, there'll be no difference between new and old. But if you were to stick out like a sore thumb, that's also not great either. So context becomes even more important. So that is a challenge dealing with redevelopment projects.
Okay. And let's say, like, can you describe your experience with the various architectural design software tools? Let's say
Oh, yes.
BI or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, okay, so there are two kinds of purely architectural softwares that are available and we use. So there is the visualization software, which
Yes.
helps you design, which you put your design into a form. So there is SketchUp, that is a very very well used and very very highly practiced software for most architects. Um, the um, transition from the designing in SketchUp, and even at the design and thereafter, the softwares to help your designs into construction documentation. So AutoCAD and multiple variations of CAD software like BricsCAD and ZWCAD are great tools to make those into working drawings. Uh, and for the last few years and almost a decade now, the the introduction of BIM has brought in another aspect to it. So, what was initially a paper-driven information delivery system till about 20-25 years ago came onto a computer CAD-based, computer-aided design. Okay, that is what CAD stands for, right? And
Yes.
thereafter, the invent of BIM has moved from it being just a drawing to being a model,
Yeah. 3D
which
model.
just which yes, which and it's more than a 3D. It also has a lot of information that goes beyond just the drawing, right? So when BIM stands for Building Information Model, right? So in which in BIM you conceptualize. CAD was primarily to do with two-dimensional world. BIM is to do with the three-dimensional, the world that we actually, the world the way that it is, right? So you conceptualize um, buildings and build forms in 3D and in BIM, and then you keep enriching it with information. That's why. So you keep loading it with information. You load it with information of the walls, the surfaces, the ceilings. Then you load it with information of what services are going in, how air conditioning is working, how lighting is being taken up. The same thing gets enriched further when it goes to your sub-consultants, your engineering consultants, your structural consultant. But the real benefit for BIM comes when the same model gets used up for construction. Right? So the people who are recipients of that construction documentation you've done, and who are going to be using it to actually construct those real buildings, right? They have more information at their disposal, which is not always visible from a flat two-dimensional drawing, right? So they can actually go around that model, see what this beam is doing, see what this column is doing, see how these two pipes are dealing with each other, how the services are dealing with the structure, and vice versa. So BIM. And so in construction documentation, the journey goes from SketchUp, CAD to BIM. And then there are other softwares like Photoshop, which help you do what you have. So primarily the canvas deals, I think architects' work is at least 60 to 80% in CAD and BIM. And the remaining 20-30% space is taken up by SketchUp and 3D Max, perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, what's your strategy? Like, do you use to collaborate with effective clients, contacted, let's say, stakeholders on a project?
What is the strategy?
Yeah.
Okay, so there are projects where not many, but there are now projects of a certain complexity like airports, some of which we have been part of, where collaboration is happening on a model together, right? Like a BIM 360,
Okay.
right? But that's very rare. It's only in very complicated projects, and where every stakeholder is on the same technological level that you are, right? Unfortunately, we are as a country in regular typology of works, most buildings, we aren't um, that technological awareness and availability has not percolated all the way. So with other projects where BIM 360 is not happening, we deal with regular Dropbox phenomenon and file sharing and platforms and version management. Many projects we work on a shared platform where the data is available to everybody to look at, to refer to, sometimes with the sharing rights also added. So that's collaboration. And one great thing that has happened post the pandemic is that collaboration, like you and I are interviewing, has happened more often than not in the virtual space.
Yeah. And let's say like our time is like just come. Okay. And let's say thank you, sir. Thank you for your time, and thank you, Savannah. Thank you for your time. I really enjoyed this time with you. Okay. I hope you to enjoy too. And thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. I did.
I like
Thank
we
you.
will meet soon.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for your time. Bye
My
bye.
pleasure.
Okay. Uh, Let me share your like reviews. Like if you had any questions or doubt something, so you can comment me on the comment box. Okay. And please subscribe this channel. Please like this channel. Please share this video. Thank you for your watching this video. Till then. See you soon.